Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, July 24th, and we're looking at the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. And I guess the first question we ask ourselves today is, well, who won the week? Who won the day? Well, we are one time framing up 3 weeks, and so bulls are going to say we won, and we only finished down 81 cents on the week. And the bears are going to say you were up a lot higher. You failed. You came back into balance. Bottom line is, I don't think we can declare the bulls dead yet because of their failure from yesterday and even today. And I'm going to go over why and explain it. So, first off, after yesterday's big flush out, right? We went out with a trend day down, double distribution. And all we did today was battle very, very visual levels. So, here was the bottom of our 4-day balance. We stretched it. We didn't get the poor low, though. I'm going to now encompass the daily in an 8-day balance when you see the charts. We closed, though, inside the previous 4 days, right? At the lower end of it, but we closed there. We closed below last year's settlement. We closed below last month's high. So those are negatives. However, if this was just week longs yesterday, right, puking out and then shorts piling on, if there was real selling today, well, it would have continued. We wouldn't have just taken out the bottom of a 4-day balance. We couldn't even get a poor low, right? We missed it by 40 cents. So not even being able to get a poor low tells you something. Now, obviously, the buyers didn't do anything either today, right? They couldn't even get back into yesterday's range. They tried in 4 time frames, and that was it. We end 11 wide. We end with lower value. We end with poor volume, 62 million with the after hours, so we're not going to do the average. So here's the bottom line for my money's worth, and then we'll go over the day. If this is just a continuation of shorts pushing down from all day, from F period yesterday, if that's all this is, if they do not get more on Monday, then at some point they're going to give it up and we're going to start coming back and taking back probably this trend day. And nothing's changed. We're back in balance. We're still in balance, but towards now the middle end. However, if we take out today's low, things are definitely starting to change because today's low is a weekly low. Now, just as nice as the weekly candle looked, which I'll show you, this weekly one looks just as ugly. But just because we close at the bottom of the weekly range doesn't necessarily mean we'll take it out. For sure, the bears have the ball in their court, right? It's certainly going to be a lot easier to take out this weekly, the weekly low as opposed to the weekly high, which was yesterday's high, and is now a huge factor with the gap above it. But it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to. If they do, then something's changed because we were one time framing up in all 3 time frames early this week. Well, the daily's balance. Well, if we take out today's low, now the weekly's in balance. So something will be changing. But I'm still going to say the bulls still have some life if they're able to hold today's low. As far as trading today, I'm telling you, if you were in the trading room today, you would have killed them because even though we had a tight range and everything else, we call this market from I period popping H to these highs to this low to a T. And I'm going to say a good part of the room reaped the benefits and the rewards from it. And I'll go over it in a minute. So, A period today, we opened on a gap. I took a quick 322 put as we couldn't fill the gap. Went down. It was a very nice trade to start the day. B period. We get back. Now, here's another factor. We went back and forth through the open in 10 out of 13 time frames. No conviction either way. So even though the bears had the ball in their hand from yesterday, they didn't do anything with it. And the bulls couldn't even come back into yesterday's range, really. So there was no conviction. B period. As soon as we got back above the open, it looked like we were going to pop A's high. If we pop A's high, the odds of filling the gap were very good. I took along against that. 320 calls. Very nice trade. I didn't stay married to any of them. I was looking for quick hits today especially in the initial balance, until we get some kind of direction on the day. C period. Even though we stopped the one-time framing up and went back into balance, I took a long against. I'm trying to think where I took that long. Just give me a second. I said I have written yesterday's low, but that couldn't be it because here was yesterday's low. I think it was value low at the time. I don't know why I wrote yesterday's low, but I took a long. Oh, I know what it was. Totally apologize. When C period opened, it was up here, and we actually had singles. We actually had a chance for a trend day up twice, and it failed. I took a long against. I did take a long against the low. It went back up, took it off, and then it came down, and we had a reversal bar. I was wondering why I said that. Yeah, so it wasn't down here. It was up here, and I took a long. Again, I didn't stay married to it. F period. I tell you, by the end of the day, my mind's fried. F period, I was looking for an afternoon pullback low. Right? But I told the room that is no way something I'm going to lean against with the indices being down. I'm not confident in it, but I think at least we should get maybe, once we pull back to value low, it would be a decent trade. I took a 319 call at the time. Value low was there. That worked out. It was just a small gain, nothing big. I did the same thing in G against value low, and that worked out. Again, those were small. But here's where things changed, and here's where things got very readable on this type of day. So we pushed down an H, made a new low. Now, I did take a quick put, looking to see if we were going to get that poor low. Didn't get it, came back. I made on some, I scratched on some. I did say, now this kind of kept me out of a trade here. I said, if we make a new low but come back into today's range, I want to get long, go back to POC. Well, because I had the short, because I just didn't do it down here. But that would have been a very nice trade. So that was the first thing where we just called this, the rest of this day, beautifully. So we said anything to fade this if we come back. So what happened after that? I said, if we take out H's high to stop the one-time framing down, I'm going to look to get away from POC and look for an afternoon rally high somewhere around value high. Now, I'm in 4-tick increments. If you put this in ones, you're going to see it would have worked out to the T for the most part. So that's exactly what happened. I didn't get long in I, but I got long in J, even though it was near POC, because I said there's no way we're going to have the afternoon rally high that close to POC. And J went right up to POC. Beautiful call play. It was a 320 call. Again, they were all expiring today. Took it off. Right after that, I started my put play. Took a short, not a huge one. I bought the 321 puts. I bought 20 of them. Went back, went up higher, took another 20, 40, came down, took most of them off. We did that trade a couple of times in J and K. I did not do it in L again. L was a reversal bar again. Man, I missed that short. L took out J and K's high, which becomes our afternoon rally high, and then ripped down. So I actually didn't take it up here. I did take a short when we broke K's low, again, to value low and G's low. That was nice. And then I took a short in M for a quick short. But the way I called it was, I said, we got to come back into the range. We go to POC. I said, if we take out H's high, we go to value high. Bingo. And then I said I'd look for an afternoon rally high to go back down and test the day's low. We didn't test the day's low, but I'm still calling it a bingo as we flushed out. So the room had a very good day. Good week overall. Very happy with it. All right, let's go over destinations for Monday. So first one will be L's high that I use as an afternoon rally high of 321.45. Then we have today's high of 321.99. Then the single prints, the double distribution day, right? 323.60. They get filled at 324.65. And then 327.23, which is now a weekly high. And then filling that gap at 332.58, 535-point gap. Now, here's a couple of interesting things. I don't have a poor high, but this is a poor high for the ES. So there's no completion there yet at that weekly high. That's number one. Number two, if we don't take out this high next week, it becomes a monthly high. So that's going to be even a more daunting task. I like using that word with this gap. As daunting as that gap is, it'll become even harder as number one, it becomes a weekly high now. That's the intermediate time frame, and could possibly become a monthly high if we don't take it out next week. Keep that in mind. For the downside, 11Y, so 11 out of 13 time frames. Very happy to do business at 320.60. 320.62 is the bottom of that 4-day balance. Very visual level. Then we have today's low of 319.25, which is a weekly low, 319.09 daily low, poor low, and then below that we don't have anything to 317.67, which was our price probe from the 14th, which is held very nicely. 314.52 afternoon pullback low from July 14th, and 312 weekly low. So the bears had a chance today to go get that poor low, and below that there was really nothing to last week's low. So that's why it's going to be critically important next week. If the bears are able to take out this week's low, well then my next major destination is 312. If they can't take it out, and this is all shorts, and they start covering, well, then they failed. All right, let's go to the charts. Monthly, one time framing up 3 months, very healthy. The only thing that's kind of disappointing so far, remember, we still have a week, is last month's high of 323.41. Bulls would like to close above it, right? They would certainly like to close above it. Weekly, one time framing up 3 weeks. However, remember how very nice that candle finished last week? Well, this one finishes just as ugly as this one was pretty. And we end smack in the middle of it. And we're back inside not only last month's high, but this 8-week balance high. I'm still calling it one time framing up for 3 weeks. But it's critical for the bulls to hold, I believe, today's low, which is the weekly low. If not, your next destination on the longer term is going to be 312, at least to start. And then on the daily, same thing. I am now encompassing this as an 8-day balance. I'm using the poor low of 319.09 as my low, and I'm using yesterday's high of 327.23 as the high of my 8-day balance. Important they hold that, because otherwise you get sucked into this huge balance, and the bottom of that would be first 312, right? And then 310.68. So the bulls have their backs against the wall a bit, but it remains to be seen if the bears are really here, or if this was just somebody masquerading as shorts trying to push this down. Have a great weekend. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Enjoy yourself, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.